In this video, I'm going to be reviewing Iroful paper. I'll go over the specs, I will do a paper test, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like about this paper coming up. Blake here with Blake's Broadcast. On this channel, I review fountain pens, paper, and ink, and as always, I put links in the show notes in the description below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, it really helps out my channel. Alright, let's get on with the review. So this is Iroful paper. I have it here in loose sheets. In terms of specs and pricing, you get 100 sheets, A5 size for $14, and there's also an A4 size with 50 sheets for $16. And we do sell these at thepapermind.com, and for Blake's Broadcast viewers and subscribers, you can get 10% off with code BB10 at checkout. Now, this is a really good coated paper. It's very similar to Cosmo Air Light. It's made by Sakae TP, TP standing for technical paper. They used to make Tomoe River. It's not the original Tomoegawa, but I believe they made Tomoe River before Sanzen did. Anyway, they make high-tech papers in Japan, and this is a 75 GSM coated paper, and to me, it is very, very similar to Cosmo Air Light. As you guys know, Cosmo Air Light has been discontinued. Now, we do make two Cosmo Air Light notebooks, a hardcover and a twin ring notebook, so we'll keep selling those until they're gone, but unfortunately we won't be able to make any more, and I've been looking for replacements, and this is really not bad. I'm still looking at other options. In terms of performance, we will take a look here. This is a paper test I did, and we can see on the face of this, it looks really quite nice. Now, I made a mess here. I'm using a Fountain Pen Revolution Flex nib, and just drops of ink fell onto the paper, so I dabbed that up with a tissue and made a mess of it. That's not an issue with the paper, but the face of this looks really good. I would say, except for maybe the Copic sketch where we get these sort of like blotchiness at the top of the C and the S here, that doesn't look great. But everything else here I think looks really, really quite nice. And then when we go to the back, basically everything passed. I would say we saw maybe a tiny bit coming through on this Platinum Curidas fine, which is kind of like an extra fine nib. Really pretty minimal. And then the Pilot High-Tech point, we did see some spotting, but not bad. In terms of the Troublemaker pens, only the Copic sketch came through a little bit. So really nice performance. Now, if we compare that to Cosmo Air Light, we did see kind of a similar thing with the Copic sketch, and similar kind of fountain pen performance. Works really nicely. This is 83 GSM Cosmo Air Light, and so the Iroful paper is even lighter, and I would say the show-through performance is pretty similar, like not a big difference, even though that the Cosmo Air Light is a heavier weight. Now, when I run my fingers along these pages, I do definitely feel more of the writing on the Iroful, but that's just to be expected with a thinner paper. In terms of the color, they're very, very similar. In terms of the writing feel, the Iroful is a hair rougher to write on. Now, neither of these papers I would consider like super smooth. I mean, they are smooth, but there's some feedback on the Cosmo Air Light, and I do feel it a little bit more on the Iroful than the Cosmo Air Light. If you gave these papers to me blind, I don't think I could tell the difference, to be honest. The difference is really small enough. In terms of line spread, it's very similar to Cosmo Air Light. I think it's minimal. To me, it doesn't really bother me, but some people do not like it. So just like Cosmo Air Light, this shows off ink really, really nicely. So if you like sheening and shimmering inks, this does really well with that. I figure I'd just do live writing here. They do kind of have a different sound to them, but they feel very similar. So let's see if my microphone can pick this up. I don't know. This is the Iroful Cosmo Air Light. Yeah. These papers are super close. Now, the name Iroful. It's a combination of colorful and the Japanese word iro, which means color, I'm told. Don't like Iroful. It's hard to say, weird. But this paper is really nice. I'm happy to be selling it on the Papermind. Sakae TP does make Iroful notebooks. The way that they're bound, not really a fan of them. I might try one out just to see, but from looking at them, they're not that nice. So if I do choose to put this in a notebook, I'm going to make it a lot nicer than the Sakae version. Anyway, really like this paper. It's worth giving it a try. It's pretty nice. So what are my pros and cons for the Iroful paper? Well, I think this paper is actually really excellent with fountain pens. It is very similar to Cosmo Air Light. It shows off shimmering and sheening inks really, really nicely. If you want your ink to pop off the page, this is a really great paper. It's not too expensive. You have $15 or $14 for 100 sheets of the A5 size. Pretty affordable. It's a very lightweight, 75 GSM, and it performs really, really nicely with fountain pen ink. Now, in terms of cons, right now, cons are the formats. It comes in loose leaf sheets in A4 and A5 size, which I do really like. There are some notebooks, which I haven't tested yet, but just looking at the bindings, they don't look that nice. So I really would like to see this bound nicely in a good quality notebook. Other cons, I don't have a ton. There is show through. It's 75 GSM, so you can expect that to be an issue. Slower dry times, like with any coated paper like Tomoe River, Cosmo Air Light, so that's very much like that. Other cons, I don't know if this is really a con, but compared to Cosmo Air Light, there is a little bit more feedback, but it's pretty close. If I didn't have these two papers side by side, I don't think I would really be able to tell too much of a difference between them. They're really that close. So overall, I think one of the best fountain pen friendly papers out there. Do you guys have this paper? Do you like this paper? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more fountain pen paper and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, and until next time.